people are going to be on live with us today because it is a daytime class. Many people work. This is the Happy Fall, y'all. Hedgehog class, finally. Susan, also, I'm not going to mute everybody because there isn't that many people on here live. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to move my camera over.
And Christina, I'm going to turn my microphone off so that if the phones are ringing, it's not interrupting the class.
Okay. Like I said, I usually mute everybody, but there's not many people here. So if you just want to mute yourself and if you have a question, that's great. Hopefully you'll be able to stay for the whole thing and you won't get busy. So let me just plug this in. I actually have my camera too. I don't know if you guys attended the last, let me plug in my charger, the last class. I have a new camera here. And it kept trying to autofocus like every couple of seconds, and it was really super annoying. So I was on hold, not on hold, I was on the line with the Logitech customer service, and they basically just told me to turn off the autofocus. It just seems like when it's farther away, it's just going to keep trying to focus. I don't know why it does that, but so I just turned off the autofocus, so I think we're going to be okay now. I can't wait to get my new craft table. I don't know if you guys have heard that I've got a friend of mine making me a brand new craft table. It's going to be a lot longer. It's not going to be, these are like hot glue burns, I think. It's going to be a lot longer. I'm going to have a lot more room. What's that?
I can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me?
My volume is turned all the way up and I still do not hear you.
Can you hear me at all? I mean, am I faint? Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you barely,
but
not enough to.
Yeah. I'm not sure why, honey. Why don't you sign out and come back in again?
Okay.
Or something. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm not sure why she can't hear me. Emily hasn't been in a class in a while. I don't know. Yeah, sign back out and come back in, Emily. So let's just go ahead and get started. I've had my stuff ready for this wreath for a while. This sign I've had since last year. My hedgehog sign. I just never had a chance to use it. And this is from Hobby Lobby. Happy Fall, y'all. The only thing I don't really like about this sign is it's kind of heavy. I don't really like putting heavier signs in my wreaths. Because it's just hard to get them to lay right, but we're going to do the best that we can. And so, but this is a really cute sign. I prefer lighter signs, but we're going to make this work. It'll be fine. We will make it work. And let's see, I actually found this mesh that I'm going to be using on a D-Stash site because Debbie from Debbie's Wreaths and Things, if you're familiar with her, she actually gave me the idea to use this mesh for this wreath, and she had found it at a local shop down in Mississippi. And it actually almost looks like a sports team colors, but you really wouldn't think of using these colors for fall. But the reason why, once I saw that she'd used it in her wreath for this hedgehog sign, I said, I got to try to find it. It's like an orange and a turquoise. But because the sign has both orange and turquoise in it, I thought, it's going to look really nice. Now, if you can't find this, I don't think you're going to be able to find this because, like I said, I didn't order it anywhere. I didn't buy it from any store. I found it on a D-Stash site. If you're not familiar with what those are, there's D-Stash groups on Facebook, and it's just people who have extra that they want to sell, extra materials, extra mesh or ribbon or whatever that they want to sell. So if you can't find this, just look at the colors in your sign. You can use orange, fall orange colors. You can use brown. You can even use jute mesh. Always looks nice in a fall wreath. This is 10-inch, but they make it in 21-inch too. And this would actually go well with this sign as well. So don't go crazy trying to find this particular mesh. So this is what we're going to use, and we're going to use, you're probably wondering, if you haven't seen this method yet before, why did she cut her 21-inch mesh into 10-inch pieces? Well, because it's probably one of my favorite methods to use with 21-inch mesh, and you're going to see why. I've done a few classes on it. I also have some ribbon already ready to go here. I found this really pretty ribbon in an Etsy shop, and I thought it would go really well because it has both the turquoise and the orange in it. And then I've just got a solid 2.5 inch. These are both 2.5 inch. I like to use two 2.5 inch and two 1.5 inch, and these are cut at 13 inches. This is a 1.5, a chevron, really pretty fall colors. And then I just found, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to use for my other 1.5, and I just found this today in my supply, in my stash. And it's a little bit sparkly, but I like the color. I like the color of it. So we're going to try that as well. A lot of times I don't even really know how a ribbon is going to look until I get it on my wreath. So when I'm getting ready to make something, I usually cut. It's not uncommon for me to cut maybe 2 or 3 additional different styles because I'm not quite sure what's going to work and what's not. So it's always good to maybe cut. If you're not sure whether you want to use this ribbon or that one, just cut extra pieces anyway. Typically 13 inch or 14 inch is the standard length to cut for wreaths, for mesh wreaths. I like the 13 inch a little bit more only because I like to be able to see my mesh. A lot of wreath makers cut their ribbons at 14. To me, that kind of covers up too much of the wreath. Sometimes I even go 12. If you guys have ever heard of Dorothy Barksdale from Dottie Dot's Bubbly Creations, look her up. She cuts all of her ribbons at 7 to 8 inches, so they just kind of barely stick up out of the mesh, and that's a really pretty look too. So here we go. This is actually a ruffle method, but using 21 inch mesh. Now, I've actually seen some wreath makers take their 21 inch mesh and literally ruffle it up the long way. Now, in my opinion, that kind of scares me only because this just leaves all of your cut edges here exposed to fraying. So even though I did use the wood burning tool, you're still going to get some fraying on your cut edges. So this method for the ruffle method for 21 inch mesh, I really like a lot better. There's a couple ways you can do it. After you cut your 10 inch pieces, you can either kind of fold it down like this. So just kind of fold it like this and then fold it over, okay? Or if you really want to hide these cut ends, sometimes I'll like roll them in like that, which is a little bit harder to do, but it kind of hides. See that? You're kind of tucking your cut ends in like that. And then you can fold it over and pinch it in the middle. Or I'm going to give you a couple different ways you can roll it and then fold it in half and pinch it in the middle. But that's ultimately what your piece is going to look like. And I'm just going to fold this piece because on the outer roll, the outer pieces of the roll, it's not as curly. So I'm just going to show you how it looks when I fold it. And you fold it in half again, and then you do your pinch in the middle. So you end up, do I have a fray here? You end up with a poof on one side and sort of a ruffle or a spiral on the other. And that's how your piece is going to go into your wreath form. Sandra, have you seen this method before? Is this new to you? Emily's not coming back.
That is completely new to me. I've not seen that one.
Oh, you're going to love it. You will love it. This first piece, I'm going to lay down. Now, I don't know if I told you guys either. This is the standard way that I do my wreath form. When I make my own wreath form, you've got 18 ties. This is a Dollar Tree wreath form. I've got 10 going around the outside, 2 bars. I wrap my pipe cleaner around 2 bars, and then 8 on the inside. Generally about 4 to 4.5 inches apart. The inside may be a little closer together. I just heard a noise. Anyway, this first piece I'm just going to lay down parallel to my wreath form. If you want to watch a really good video on how to make your own work wreath form, go to YouTube. Now I'm just going to poof this out a little bit once I get it on my wreath form. Poof out your poof, okay? Go to YouTube and look up how to make your own work wreath form by Halo Designs. Melissa is awesome. She does her wreath forms just like I do. So that's a good YouTube tutorial to watch. Now we're going to do 2 of these per tie. Okay. So again, you know, sometimes as I'm going through, I'll just do it different ways. Sometimes I'll roll it. Sometimes I'll fold it. It's all ultimately going to look the same way. So pinch it in the middle. Okay. This piece we're going to put the other way. Or sometimes I crisscross them. I think I'm going to crisscross it. So you can either do the second piece. See how this first piece had the poof on this side and your spirals or ruffle on the other? You can either go across like that, so your poof is on this side, or you can go up and down. I think I'm going to go across. When I say up and down, I'm just going to go across. But that's entirely up to you. And lay your second one down. And this makes a really, really full wreath. And then you go ahead and pull your poof out a little bit. And that's it. That's one tie.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I'm telling you, because I'd be honest with you, I don't like my poofs. When I use 21-inch mesh and I do poofs, I don't like the way they come out. So I actually stole this method. It's not my method. I stole it from Trendy Tree. And it's one of my favorite methods for 21-inch mesh. It's just, look at how cute that is. So now the next one, let me think for a second here. I think I'm going to still keep going in the same direction. So I'm going to keep my first piece going, like all my poofs are going to be going this way. So I'm always going to be laying my first piece down like this. Just follow the one before it. You can use 2 different kinds of 21-inch mesh if you want to. 2 different colors. I think the last one I did with this method was the summer strawberry wreath. Now this one I think I'm going to kind of fold in a little bit. Just kind of tuck your cut ends a little. Again, this way of doing it this way is a little bit harder. And then fold it over. That way your cut ends are kind of tucked inside, but you still get the same look. So then I'm just going to, I'm going to go across. This first piece was parallel. I'm going to put this one across. And you can poof out your poof a little bit. So I still see, even though I use the wood burning tool, sometimes I still get some frays here and there. I'm just tucking this in because it's sticking out a little bit too much in my opinion. Oh, there's a fray. And that's that. This mesh is so pretty. Now, again, like I said, you can also roll it. Like that. And then fold it. There are 3 different ways you could do this. Again, when you're in the inside of your roll, it's going to be a lot harder to fold your pieces if you want to do it that way, because they tend to curl so much. I got to see if my boyfriend answered me, Sandra. I'm sure he's heard of your company. I'm positive he has. Especially if they have a branch located right in Syracuse, because he lives in Syracuse. I live outside Syracuse. He lives right in Syracuse, so. Let me see if he answered me. I guess nobody else is coming on. He says, of course I have. Of course I've heard of them. See? Sometimes you'll even get frays coming off of your seamed ends, the ones that you didn't cut. Is this 2 pieces or is this one? This is just one. I thought it was 2 because it makes such a full wreath. I've got my mesh on the floor here. Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be Sandra and Susan today. Everybody's busy. That's okay. I like a daytime class once in a while. And then this one I'm going to put across. And after I get my piece on, then I poof out my poof side. You can see how full that's getting already. I really like to try to hide these cut ends, but this way of doing it isn't that easy. Again, still going this way, my bottom piece. I'll put these up here so I don't have to keep bending down. I'm too old to keep bending down. Why bend down if you don't have to? Well, it's really cool here in upstate New York today. We're going to have a nice cool weekend. Thank goodness, I'm ready for cool weather. I'm not ready for winter, but I do like fall.
Okay, Christine, I can hear you now.
Yay, see, sometimes that's all you have to do is just log out and come back in again. Yay. Emily, you've seen this method before, honey, haven't you? With the 21 inch? You
I just didn't know. I think we did that with the fabric mesh.
I think you're right too. We did it. I think we did it for the Bee Blessed wreath, and I did it for the strawberry wreath too over the summer.
Uh-huh.
And then I did it for the Mother's Day wreath. So I love this method. So if I'm ever using 21 inch mesh, I usually do this method. Now the class, actually both classes this weekend are going to be using 21 inch mesh and 10 inch mesh, but that's just going to be regular poofs, like the normal way you do poofs and then with added ruffles. But if I'm just using 21 inch mesh, I just like this method only because, in my opinion, if you just use 21 inch mesh by itself and just do a poof, I just don't feel like it covers well enough. This definitely covers. I love this method. You can see how full it is already. And I keep bending down and I've got mesh over here. Yeah, I really would love to have more daytime classes. I know people work, but I'm just like so wide awake right now. Usually by 8 o'clock, I'm like tired and I feel bad because, you know, you guys don't want to see me falling asleep on camera, even though you can't see me right now. You can just see my hands. So
We could have both.
what's that?
We could have both.
Yeah, I just feel like there's nobody here. There's only 3 people here. But, you know, honestly, I can't tell you how many members just have such crazy schedules that I don't think some members have even ever attended a live class because they're just so busy and they just want the video. They would rather just get the video. I know I have one woman, she's a total sweetheart. She travels all the time. And she likes to watch my videos while she's traveling, while she's on the plane or, you know, train or whatever mode of transportation that she's using, and she likes to watch my videos while she's on the road. So, but I tell everyone, especially people that have, you know, signed up for the unlimited plan, unlimited means unlimited. It means you can attend as many live classes as you want. You can get every single video. I mean, I don't think a lot of people understand that if you attend a live class, you're still going to get the video. That's part of the deal. Automatic. Emily, were you near any of the hurricane inflicted areas? I can't remember. You're in Texas though, right?
Texas.
That's
No,
right. That's right. I just
we
remembered.
got lots of rain.
Yeah, we got some, but we're way up north, so I gotta remember not to wear this shirt when I make a mesh wreath because it just grabs my shirt.
No, we had rain every day for about 2 weeks.
Oh gosh.
We had flooding.
Yeah, my daughter in Colorado is going to be visiting Texas in about a month. She's going to Austin to visit a friend of hers from college. Is that near you? Or I know Texas is pretty huge, so.
About an hour.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
No. We consider Austin not far.
Well, there you go. Where is Austin in Texas, though? I mean, is it like in the middle, or I have no idea.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
South Central.
Mm-hmm. So how far are you, like, from the coast? A ways?
2 hours.
I'm sorry?
2 to 2.5 hours.
That's not too bad.
Mm-mm. So
Is
you
there a-
can do a day trip and go to the coast.
Oh, there you go. You don't be like me and sit here and play with your mesh for 20 years because that's going to cause it to fray. Put it on there and take your hands away. Remove your hands from the mesh. The more you handle mesh, the more it's going to fray. I don't care if you use the wood burning tool. I don't care if you use a rotary cutter, although I'll be honest with you, I never ever use a rotary cutter to cut my mesh because it just, in my opinion, it frays. Because even when you're using the wood burning tool, you still have to be careful to get in between the lines, your grid lines of your mesh, because that's what's going to prevent it from fraying. If you just do all willy-nilly and just, cut however, you're just defeating the whole purpose of using the wood burning tool. So. Now, because this makes the wreath so full, I may not even do 2 per tie on the inside. You may just need to do 1 on the inside because you can see how already I'm about all the way around the outside and it's really full. I kind of have to see how it looks. I mean, I really want to use up my mesh. I don't like having a lot of leftover mesh hanging around. So, especially this color, I mean, this is kind of an unusual color, so I'm not quite sure where else I would be able to use this. The only thing you have to be concerned about is if your wreath is too full, you're going to have a hard time getting your ribbon to lay the way you want it to. Now, that's another reason why, you ask 10 different wreath makers, you may get 10 different answers because a lot of them will say, oh, I always cut my ribbon at 14 inches, or oh, I always cut my ribbon at 12 or 13. It really is a matter of personal preference. It really is a matter of how much of your mesh you want to cover. And again, I don't, when I have a pretty mesh, especially like this, I don't want to totally cover it with ribbon so much that you can't even see that there's mesh under there. I like to be able to see my mesh. So if you have a wreath that's really full, it might not even be a bad idea to cut your ribbon a little bit shorter because that's a really pretty look too. Like I said, Dorothy Barksdale from Dottie Dot's Creations, she's a very talented lady. She only cuts her ribbons at 7 to 8 inches. And they just kind of peek up a little bit from the mesh, and it's really, really pretty. Most wreath makers do 14 inches, like I said. I decided to settle on 13 just because I like the way it looks. You can tell I'm a lot more awake now because I'm just blabbering nonstop here. Usually I don't talk too much in my classes at night because I'm tired. I've been going all day, and my doggy gets me up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, my senior doggy, who's got diabetes, and she needs her insulin, and I think she's starting to get doggy dementia too, because she just kind of gets in these moods where she just kind of like wanders, and we don't know what she wants, and it's sad.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, exactly. But she just, and it's, my son said something to me the other day. It kind of made me a little bit sad. Sammy is her name, and she's had a very full life. She's going to be 15 in March, and she really has had a great life. And she just started to get sick in the spring of 2017. So it's only been about a year and a half. And he said, Mom, she really has had a good life, but she's not the same. She's not the same Sammy. She really isn't. She gets happy, she gets excited and looks forward to her treats, but she can't see, and we feel it, and she's losing her hearing now too. So I just told him, I said, we just have to continue to make her comfortable, and everybody tells you that, you're going to know when it's time. She's not, it's not like she's deathly ill. We just took her to the vet, and she's, she's okay. She just, gets a little crazy sometimes, usually at night. And they say that there's a condition that seniors, human being seniors, experience in the evening. It's called sundowner syndrome.
Uh-huh.
You've heard of that?
Oh, yeah. I'm a nurse.
Yeah. And it's similar to what she could be going through. So we got her an anti-anxiety medication. I didn't really want to give her that, but it does seem to help calm her down in the evening. So, because she would just wander and pace, and she's blind, so she would bump into things, and we basically have the whole living room like cushioned with pillows everywhere, so she doesn't hurt herself. They make these little things for dogs called halos, and it's like a little thing that goes over their shoulders, and it has like a buffer on it, so they can feel when they get close to like a wall or something, and they don't, hurt themselves. Am I missing? I feel like, what I did? I missed a tie over here. So I'm blabbering away. I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't look right over there. It looks a little uneven. I like to try to tuck my cut ends in, but this way of doing it's a little difficult. There it is right here. We missed it. And then we'll move to the inside, and I'm going to try to decide whether I want to do, I'm just going to roll it, whether I want to do, because if you roll it like that, and you keep your cut end on the bottom, let's try this again. If you roll it, not too tight, and your cut end's on the bottom, then you can fold it over, and that kind of hides your cut end too. So let's do that. It looks the same. All right, where was I? Here it is. So this is the whole outside, 2 pieces per tie. And you can see how super full that is. That's really full. But we're gonna go to the inside and see if I'm gonna do one or if I'm gonna do 2. Like I said, I don't like to have a lot of leftover mesh, so let me just go ahead and do 2. Where's the rest of my mesh? Here it is. Let's see. There's only 8 ties on the inside. I'm just going to continue to roll it because I kind of like that. It doesn't have to be tight. Just make sure your cut end is on the bottom. Fold it over and pinch it. And I'm going to keep going around the same direction I did on the outside. I'm just going to go ahead and put in one per tie and see how that looks. And then I'm going to decide if I want to do more. It really doesn't take that long. It's only been about a half an hour. We're almost done with our base, so it's goes pretty quickly. You know, you're not sitting there and ruffling up your pieces like you do with the typical ruffle method, which I don't hate the ruffle method. I love the ruffle method, but it's just faster. Cut ends on the bottom. And fold it over. Yeah, I like this way. I like rolling it. I went to Michael's the other day, and they had pre-made deco mesh wreaths. Really expensive and just not nice at all. They were all fraying and just not attractive. And in fact, I saw a woman, I went to Lowe's the other day, and I guess Lowe's has Halloween wreaths as well. And this woman was walking out with a looked like a poof wreath. I wanted to just yell out the window and say, hey, don't waste your money on that. It was just, I thought, you know, I think to myself, I could do so much better than that. Just these factory made ones that people buy from the stores, you know, ugh. This person, I was even going to tell her, I'll show you how to make that, and it would come out so much nicer. Don't waste your money. See, I think I'm only going to need one. Look how full that is with just one tie on the inside. I don't think I'm going to need two. And then I'm going to have my sign anyway, so, you know, I'll leave that up to you guys. You guys here and whoever's watching this afterwards, if you want to add two on the inside, you go right ahead, but in my opinion, you're really only going to need one. Especially if you plan on adding ribbon to your ties on the inside too. I typically don't add ribbon to all of my ties on the inside. I usually put my sign on first and see how it looks. And then I sort of put some ribbon around my sign. I know a lot of people put their ribbon on and then they put their sign on, but I don't want to squish my ribbon down, so I always put my sign on first. You can do any theme with this method, obviously. 10-inch cuts, that's all it is. Take your 21-inch mesh. This is 2 rolls I have here. So I actually, you know, I'm not going to be using all of the 2 rolls because I'm only doing one on each tie on the inside. I think maybe I'm using like a roll and a half. Wait a minute, I already did that one. I think I'm done on the inside. I think I got them all. No, wait, I missed one. How does that happen? I don't want to miss one. I think that is good. I feel like though, I feel like I have this leftover mesh. I want to use it though, you know, but I don't really need any more. There is a gap here though, and I don't like gaps. Maybe I'll just put a couple more pieces in where I see a gap. I'm not quite sure where there's a gap there. Maybe I didn't put my pipe cleaners close enough together. So you look at your wreath when you're done with your first, putting down your first tie. If you want to add a couple more pieces here and there, like I'm doing, go for it. Entirely up to you. I think I only have about 3 or 4 pieces left here on this other roll. We usually have more people than this, Susan, if this is your first class, but again, this is a daytime class. So I'm sure a lot of people are working, but I wanted to try to do something a little bit different. For the people who don't work, I think that's it. I don't think I'm going to put any more in. I don't want to go overboard here. What do we got over here? Let me look and see. Why do I have a gap here? You know what? My sign's going to go there anyway, so. But look how full that is. That really does make, this method makes a very, very full wreath. Again, my sign's going to go in the middle, so I don't really think I need to put any more in the middle. So I got a couple pieces left here. We'll figure out what we're going to do with those later. So here's my sign. And like I said, it's making me a little nervous because it's heavy. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and cut these strings off because we don't really need these unless you want to use them to help tie your wreath on, but I think I'm just going to use my my pipe cleaners. Now, I don't know, I've shown these several times in my classes. I like to use these. You can get them by the zip ties, or you can order them online if your store doesn't carry them, if your Walmart doesn't carry them. They're just little squares with adhesive on the back, and I don't know if you can really see that. There's like a hole. There we go. There's a hole that goes through the middle, and you can put your pipe cleaner or your zip tie through your hole. This will stick on the back of your sign. Now, one thing that I do different now that I didn't used to before is I put a little bit of super glue, because sometimes these still don't hold. I had a sign come off my wreath and it fell on my doggy's head while she was sleeping, and that really wasn't very fun. So I'm just going to put a little dab of super glue on the back. And this is a heavy sign, so he's going to get 4. He's going to get 4 of these. 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. This hasn't happened with all my wreaths that I've used these, but just to be on the safe side, and don't use hot glue, because if you live in a very warm temperature, it's just going to melt right off as soon as you have that hanging on your front door and the heat starts to hit it. I'm going to put these down here. Try not to touch that glue because I hate having super glue on my hands. I guess I can put that right over that sticker. And that's it. I gotta get some more of those. I'm almost out. I used to use the hot glue, and these are great. They really are great. Another thing you can do is if you have a really strong stapler, you can staple your pipe cleaners onto the back. It has to be one of those heavy duty, You know, I have to correct myself. I have another whole roll of mesh over here. This didn't even take a full roll of mesh. I just noticed I have another roll of mesh over there. So you're probably you're only going to need one roll of mesh. I have to go adjust the supply list. I just went and looked on my corner. I have another whole roll of this mesh over there that I cut. So this isn't even a full roll. I apologize greatly. So one roll of mesh, one roll of 21-inch mesh, and look how full that is. That really puzzles me because I'm almost positive I made this before and I used more than one roll. There you go, ladies. One roll of mesh. Unless, of course, you decide to use a bigger wreath form. I'm just waiting for this to dry a little bit here because my glue is, my super glue. Let me get my pipe cleaners out here. Doesn't really matter what color you use because we're not going to show. So just go ahead and slip it right through that hole. Just like that. I don't go all the way through, just enough to tie it on. Like that. Meaning, don't go all the way through and double it, because then it's not going to be long enough. You follow what I'm saying? Just go through enough to grab it on the other side and give it a couple of twists. That way you have more length to work with here to attach to your wreath form. Now, if the sign was lighter, I got glue on my hands, you would only need 2 of these stickies. This is a bigger sign and it's heavier, so. Now, this is the part that I hate, trying to get it to lay right. Let's see. Just kind of lay it, try to get it in the middle. I always do the top first. So just feed it through. And what I try to do is I'll flip it over. I try to attach it to a crossbar. So here's a crossbar right here. That way it's got something to grab a hold of and it won't slide. Wrap it around the crossbar a couple of times. Don't tighten it up really tight just yet because you might have to move it. Just wrap it around a couple of times. Whoops, it's grabbing my shirt again. Do the same thing on the other side. There's another crossbar. Again, this is why I like to do this before. I'm just going to leave this hanging here for now. I'll cut that extra off later. This is why I like to do this. See, I pulled it over too far on the right. Now I have to fix it. This is why I told you not to. I pulled it over a little bit too far, so it's a good idea not to tighten it up all the way just yet. Because now it's off center. Leave that loosened up a little bit here so I can fix the other side. This is why this is the part of wreath making I don't like. Is getting your sign to hang the right way. I just gotta tighten it up over here a little bit. Pull it over. Because nothing is worse than getting it all secured and Then you go to hang it up or you stand it up and it slides down and you want to cry. No, don't slide. Stay where I put you. As I was saying, yes, that's why I don't like to put my ribbon on first. Then you end up squishing it down when you put your sign on. Now I'm going to tighten up this other side. You can just wrap it around a couple of times. Flip it over and look at it. If you're happy with it, then you can go back and... Oh, Lord, it's just grabbing my shirt. So basically what I do is just, once I get the top ones on, I kind of hold it up, look at it and say, does it look like it's in the center? I think that looks pretty good. And you can do the bottom. Oh, it looks like the other member there left. I'm not quite sure who that was. I didn't recognize her name, but she left. What crossbar do I want to use? There's one here and there's one here. Let me see. I think I'm going to use the one that's down a little bit farther. This one down here. I will get this through here. Everybody's working today. Once I get my sign on, I try to like reach underneath and pull my mesh out a little bit so it's up and around the sign and not necessarily squished underneath. Just kind of reach in and pull it out a little bit. One more. If there happens to be some ties on the inside or pipe cleaners that you end up not putting any mesh, or excuse me, any ribbon in, I'll either just tuck those in or I'll cut them off so they're not in the way. Let's see, I got a crossbar right here, so that worked out. So we'll wrap it around a couple of times. Once I get my sign on, then I can breathe. And the rest is easy. There you go. So this is really in there securely. So like I said, once you get it tied on there, don't be, you don't have to worry about it sliding or anything like that. If you need to pull it over, if it's too much on one side, then the other side, you can fix it. I really can't tell right now. I think it might even be a little bit too far over to this side, but pull my mesh out a little bit. I think that looks pretty centered. What do you guys think? I gotta hold it up. It's very hard for me to tell from this end. I think that looks good. Don't drive yourself crazy if it's not perfect. Okay, now our ribbon. Robin!
Hi, Christine. I'm at work.
Hey, we're doing a day class.
I know I'm at work, so I can't do it today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I wish I was doing it because it's been very slow here. I'll be going home soon.
Aw, how come it's so slow, I wonder?
I don't know, It's a time of
Your
year.
package went back out. It was just the P.O. box, so
Okay,
it went back out today. So you'll get it Monday.
sounds good. Your wreath is adorable.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
My sign's not in the middle. Does it look okay?
I love it.
Thank you.
So anyways, I got to get back to work, but just wanted to stop in and say hi.
Oh, thanks for popping in. Hi, Robin. Have fun
Bye.
at work. Okay. Bye.
Thanks.
It was nice for her to pop in. I know we got to put our ribbon on. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know we don't really have too many people here, but that's okay. Let's see, where's my ribbon? I'm just gonna hit the mute button here. Whoops. Okay. The thing about this ribbon is it's very, very sparkly. I'm gonna lay it over here on my chair.
I had a wreath class tonight.
Okay. Where's the rest of it? What did I do with it? Where's my ribbon? Here it is. So like I said, typically I do 2, 2.5, 2, 1.5, and I sort of pair them together. So then I have to kind of make the decision what I want to put together. I think I'm going to put this one with this one. Excuse me. So you line them up. These are 13-inch pieces. I always put ribbon in every single tie going around the outside. Not necessarily on the inside, but on the outside I always do. Just kind of lay it in there. And I like to all have all the tails going in the same direction on the outside, so they're all going out. Kind of curl them under a little bit. Boy, this ribbon's really sparkly. Curl them under a little. And I also like, these are 13 inches, I also like to cut, you can see that, I also like to cut some additional pieces at 14 inches for little bow ties that I like to make. Did I cut any bow ties for this or no? I don't think I did. I don't know why I didn't. I did for that. So here's my 14-inch piece that's not dovetailed on the end, and I just kind of fold it over so they're overlapping. The end pieces are overlapping, and then I pinch it in the middle. If you guys have watched my classes before, you see how I do that, and then I place that right on top of my ribbon bundle. It's sort of like an easy little bow. And you can just take your pipe cleaner and just kind of fold it underneath. That's why it's always a good idea to have your pipe cleaners the same color or neutral so they blend in more. And that's that. That's how I do my ribbon bundles. Then we'll go to our next one, which is my chevron with just my plain 2.5-inch orange. I had like a darker color for fall, but I like the lighter orange matched the sign better. So this is actually a summer ribbon, but it just matches the sign better. If I wanted to, I could just keep this ribbon right on top of that one like that instead of separating them, because that looks kind of nice. It actually looks like one ribbon. I kind of like that. Problem is, I forgot to cut extra pieces of that. Oh no, I did cut them. They're over here. They're hiding. I got it. I knew I did. So then I'm going to do, I like to do the 1.5 inch for my little bow ties just because it folds easier. It's easier to make into a bow. You can do it with your 2.5. That looks kind of cute with the, like I said, I just kind of kept the ribbon on top of the orange because it looks nice like that, the chevron over the orange. And we'll go back to the other. And just go all the way around.
Christina, did you put on the inside row, did you put mesh in there as well?
I did, but I only did only one piece per tie.
Okay.
Because it was really, really full. And I don't know if you were there when I was saying how I didn't even use one full roll of mesh. And I'm sitting here scratching my head because I know I've done this method before. And I'm almost positive that I used 2 rolls, but maybe I'm wrong. I got to go back and look at my videos because I can't believe I didn't even use a full roll of 21-inch mesh.
Was it maybe on a bigger frame?
No, I always use the Dollar Tree frames. So I don't know what happened there. But because I went around to get my ribbon and I saw that I had another full roll of this mesh cut. And I'm like, wait a second here.
So do you always make your own wreath forms?
You know, I used to get the work wreath forms, and I used to actually prefer those, but then about 6 months or so ago, there was a shortage.
Correct.
Yeah, remember that? Everybody was out.
Yes.
So I went and got a full case of wreath forms, a full case of wreath forms from the Dollar Tree, and I started making my own. And you know what? I think I like making my own better. I like the ease of a work wreath form, but the problem with that is the finished wreath is really, really wide. It's really thick, and it just makes a gigantic wreath, and they're really pretty, but a lot of customers will complain that they don't fit inside their doors.
Correct.
Something that's flatter. So you can still get a full wreath using a Dollar Tree form, but it's not as thick. I can't get my bow tie to look right here. Hold on a second here. Boy, this ribbon is really sparkly. So honestly, I think the last time I used a work wreath form, I'm looking at my wall here, was when I made my flamingo wreath, probably like in May. So I still have a couple in my closet, and I'm sure I'll use them. It's really just a matter of preference. If you have a customer that says to you, I want a big poofy wreath, go ahead and get a work wreath form.
I have tons of work wreath forms. I was actually one of the few people that wasn't out of them because I stocked up right after Thanksgiving and right after Christmas at Hobby Lobby when they were 90% off.
Oh my God.
So I paid less than $1 for all of my wreath forms.
Wow, nice.
Yes.
I got to remember to check that out when I go there next time.
Yes, right after Thanksgiving and right after Christmas, everything, when it goes to 90% off, I think the wreath forms are like 67 or 76 cents a piece.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't think that they discounted those because those are like part of their normal stock, I thought.
Nope. Well, the Christmas colors and the Thanksgiving colors.
Right.
Yeah. But you can use them throughout the year. I mean, green is green, and red you can use for all of the patriotic holidays.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
And you know
so
what? Talk about like using unusual items for summer wreaths. I saw somebody made a watermelon wreath using a pine wreath base.
oh, no kidding.
And it was gorgeous. You couldn't even really see the pine underneath because she attached the mesh to it and everything. You could see a
Right.
little bit of the green peeking through, but it was absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
In fact,
You
I
know,
want to do that. I want to do that with a Christmas wreath. Where the heck did my ribbon go? Oh, I want to do that with a Christmas wreath. I want to do, I want to attach mesh to it. Now, I don't know if you saw the wreath that we have coming up, the Bewitch in a Minute, the Jane White sign. Have you seen that? There was a kit.
oh,
for
I
that.
have, yes. Mm-hmm.
That's actually going to be made on a black, I don't want to say pine or balsam because it's really not, but it's black. So that's not going to be made on a wire wreath form. It's going to be made on one of the, I guess, the fake pine type wreaths. So
I bought some of those and I spray painted a bunch, black, orange,
oh, nice.
green, and white.
There you go. I'm kind of wondering if this orange is a little bit too sparkly, but you know what? I cut it, so
Oh, I love it.
thank you. Well, it's all over my table, though.
It's that time of the year, glitter everywhere.
Yep.
I come to work with glitter on.
Yeah. Jeez. So did you get busy for a little while? Is that why you disappeared?
I did. I had a FedEx here. My phone rang.
Ah.
Someone else came in. Just like, people, I am watching a wreath.
Right.
making
You're trying, yeah. Why the heck did it get so warm in here all of a sudden? All right, what colors am I on now? I need this. Guess we're doing pretty good on time. We're gonna go to the 2-hour mark. Oh, no, wait a minute, it's only been an hour and 10 minutes. Wow, we're doing really good on time. This is the most time, well, this and putting the mesh on is the time consuming part, I guess I should say. But what do you think of this method, Sandra?
Oh, I love it. I don't know if I'll get to practicing it this weekend because I have plans to work on Halloween candy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Send me some.
What's that?
Send me some.
I can.
That's okay, I'm kidding. I don't have a real big sweet tooth anyway.
I can't eat them because I know how much work goes into it.
Oh.
My family, of course, doesn't have any problem jumping into my candy stuff, though.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so I have to.
You use like the little chocolate melts. Is that what you use? The little.
Yeah, you know the Wilton. I used to use Ghirardelli, but Ghirardelli no longer sells their pieces anymore.
Right.
So I had to switch to Wilton, and it's everybody loves them. I used to eat the pieces before I'd melt them, and I don't like the taste of Wilton.
Yeah.
But everybody else seems to think that they taste just fine. So, but yes, I use those molds, but I don't just fill the molds with, I actually decorate them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they're time consuming, but I dug out all my molds. I washed them all up this week. Got out my sticks and the little cellophane wraps that they go in. And
now, do you like sell them at a craft fair or something?
I'm going to attempt it. Years ago, my mom and I actually did it as a business. And then I started working full time and didn't have time to do it.
Yeah.
So next month will be my first time bringing it to a craft fair.
Well, there you go. I hope you do well.
I do too. My craft fairs so far have been a bomb.
Well, you know what? One thing I got to tell you is make sure they advertise. I come from a strong sales and advertising background, and if they don't advertise, you don't get people there to buy your stuff, then,
Correct.
What's the
I
point?
have, it's very difficult here. People they just don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
And I refuse to discount it when, yeah.
Well, I went
So
to-
my
I went
husband tells me I should just discount it and sell it. And I'm like, I'm not selling it at garage sale prices.
Right, right. I went to a craft fair a couple of weeks ago, and it was a pretty big one. And then of course, I'm trying to find out I'm trying to find the stands that have wreaths because I want to know first if they've heard of my group and whatever. And I like to see what other people are doing. And this one wreath maker had really gorgeous wreaths, but they were priced kind of high. Now I honestly have not done a craft fair yet. I'm doing one in November, a big one in my area locally at a high school. But she had her wreaths priced like $80, $85, and nobody was buying them.
Right.
Now, there was another woman who had bought a bunch of the Dollar Tree witch hats, and she had them priced like $30, and she said she brought 50 and she sold them all.
Right.
Yep.
And now I sell my witch hats at $22.50 and my candy canes at $25.
Yep.
Just because of the amount of ribbon.
When you say the candy canes, are you talking about the Dollar Tree ones that are just like wrapped in ribbon with a bow?
Yes. So I bought two cases of those. Yeah.
That's what I want to do. In fact, I just ordered a case of the candy canes, and I'm just going to bring a bunch of those to the craft fair and some Christmas witch hats, I think. Now, I have a bunch of Christmas wreaths that I'm probably going to bring. But, I'm fully anticipating people are not going to want to pay, because they don't really understand, what you put into it as far as supplies and time.
What's involved in all of that?
What's that?
Yeah, even the witch hats and the candy cane frames are actually pretty quick until you get to the bow. If you're doing the bow dabra, I have my my pro bow.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to watch a video every time I pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas my easy bow maker,
I have a pro bow too, but I gotta be honest, and I know they make gorgeous bows. I'm just lazy. I don't have room to keep it out all the time.
Same here.
It sits there in the box, and I'm like, I want to pull the pegs on, and then I gotta pull the video up because But I feel like if I practiced more, and then I wouldn't need the video. But
correct.
You heard that we've got Regina coming on to do a live, right? Did you see that post?
Yes.
So,
I plan on being there.
I need it just as much as you guys do, honestly. But I also have gotten a lot better at my hand-tied bows. I remember one time I attempted a hand-tied bow during a class, and I literally almost broke down and cried because it was embarrassing. I couldn't do it. But I've gotten better, at doing a hand-tied bow. But again, everybody likes the terry bows, and I'll be honest with you, I'm the kind of person that sort of likes to deviate from the norm. I mean, it seemed like everybody and their mother was doing or is doing terry bows and using the pro bow. And that makes sense because it's a beautiful product. It's a great product that makes a beautiful bow. But I kind of tend to be stubborn. Like if everybody else is doing it, I'm like, nah, I don't need to do that.
And I'm kind of the same way.
My frame of mind, which is kind of silly.
Well, everybody seems to be putting, 3 bows on it, and it's like it hides everything. And I don't want my stuff to look like everybody else's.
Exactly. Thank you.
I don't. Exactly that is one thing that I don't like, and that's one of the reasons why. And no offense, I don't buy the wreath kits because it's all the same.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, one of Deco exchange boxes that I got, one of the first ones was a wreath kit. And I saw all these pictures being posted all over Facebook, and it was like, oh my gosh, these wreaths are all the same. I'm not using mine.
I hear you. But you know what though too? Damon is awesome. Everybody loves him, but you can't. It's all ribbon.
Correct.
His wreaths are all ribbon.
And it hides everything. You see nothing.
I don't like that.
Neither do I. I mean, they're beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I think they're gorgeous, but why put all that stuff on the bottom if you're
Right.
not going to see any of it?
Yeah. And I think terry bows are pretty, but just do one. If you're going to do a bow, just do
Correct.
one. You don't need to do three.
You don't have to have 3, exactly.
Right.
None of my wreaths have more than 1 bow on them.
Now,
Oh, wait a minute.
if anybody is watching this, please don't think that I'm knocking the pro bow or the terry bow or Damon or anything. Damon is awesome. I love him. Everybody just has their own preference for, what they like and what they don't like.
Correct.
All it is. There's my disclaimer. So.
And I love Damon too. I'm always watching him. I am in his inner circle. I was a member of his brain trust. So yes, I mean, I love him. But I just don't like my stuff to look like everybody else's.
Exactly. There you go.
And I don't like to make the same thing twice either.
Yeah.
So my wreaths tend to all be in some way, shape, or form different.
Different. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
I can't say I make a unique handmade product and then, you see 20 of them
Yeah.
in my Etsy store.
Yep. Where am I here now? I got to see where I am. I can't have 2 of the same types of ribbon bundles together. That's a no-no.
Well, it looks beautiful, Christina.
Aw, thank you.
You're welcome. And is it too late to maybe add another 6 months to my subscription?
Of course not, my dear.
Oh, perfect.
I love that. I'm so flattered. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
My group has just been taken off lately. I mean, I've had so many members that literally just join, and then they're messaging me or they're commenting that they want to buy the unlimited, and they haven't even taken a class. I'm like, somebody must be saying good things about me somewhere. And I'm gonna
I
bring myself to tears here in a second here because and I don't mean to interrupt you, but my story is so typical of a single mom. I always worked 2 jobs. I raised my kids. I put them through college, and I'm gonna cry. It's just you always want to be able to have your own business, and this literally fell into my lap. I don't know if you heard the story, but I started the free group first and Need to Wreathe, and then all of a sudden I was getting all these emails from women who were home stuck alone. They had, disability or their spouse passed away, and they wanted to be able to make wreaths with someone. So when this paid group started, it wasn't intended to be classes. It was just intended to be like a networking thing, and it just ballooned. And I'm so busy right now, but I absolutely love it. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's just, I can't
that's
believe
awesome.
that I
remember.
have a business. I can't, it just blows my mind that I'm doing something I love. That's all.
Well, when I found your free group last year, I was unbelievably amazed at the beauty of the wreaths that people were making and showing on your page.
Uh-huh.
Because I had been on a bunch of other little sites like the Dollar Tree ones.
Yeah.
But I was just amazed at the wreath quality of that group. And it is one of my favorite groups to
thank you.
see the way that different people can have a different twist on their wreath. So
now, are you on my other group too that I just started? Don't ask me why I decided to start another group, but I did. The Wreath and Craft Addicts United.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the one where all different crafts are on there, correct?
Yes, so I thought that
I
would be
think
a good
I
idea.
posted in there a couple of times with my Chalk Couture t-shirt stuff. I have my hand in all kinds of little different things.
Yeah. So
I can't figure out what I want to concentrate on.
Cut you off, and that's so sweet of you that you like my groups. I don't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to mention something I'm doing here real quick. This is something that I do. Like I said, I don't typically put ribbon in every single tie on the outs and the inside because I just sort of like to go around and frame my sign. Now, one thing I noticed when I just placed this bundle here on top of my sign. Now, I don't go all the way down to the bottom of my pipe cleaner because if I do that, it's going to hide my ribbon. And it's hard to do, but I only go down maybe halfway. That way my ribbon is still kind of laying on the top. And that's one of the other challenges that you have when you have a, I need to cut another piece of ribbon, when you have a very full wreath. If I was to go all the way down to the bottom of my pipe cleaner, then you wouldn't be able to see my ribbon. So what just popped up here? Uh-oh, I got an admin chat.
Okay, so you're only using the top part of the twist.
Well, I go down like halfway.
Okay.
I don't go down all the way. I need another couple of pieces for my bow tie here. So that's another thing. Not many people really know the story behind Need to Wreathe either. Need to Wreathe was sort of started on a whim also. Well, I used to make wreaths all the time when my kids were little. I did the grapevine, I did Christmas wreaths. My dad actually used to make Christmas wreaths out of real balsam, real pine. And we used to go out into the woods and pick something called princess pine. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that. It grows out of the ground, and it's like a kind of a frilly little pine plant. Doesn't even really look like pine, but it makes beautiful, beautiful wreaths. And I can remember going out into the woods and picking that with my dad. And so he kind of, I guess, in a way, got me started, wanting to make wreaths, because I grew up, watching him do it. And so anyway, I used to make the balsam wreaths, the fake balsam, and I would add the embellishments and so on and so forth. And grapevine when my kids were little. And then, I was a single mom, so I kind of had to let it go. I sold some to coworkers here and there. And then about a year, oh, wait a second, let me think here. April of 2017, so it really hasn't even been that long. I discovered the group Wild About Wreaths. I'm not even sure if they're still around, but there was a problem. There was an admin there that really wasn't a very nice person. That's all I'm going to say. She butted heads with a lot of people, and people were so upset with how they were being treated that they were going off and starting their own groups. So a couple of good friends of mine started a group. I won't name who it is, but they ended up closing. I think they're not around anymore. And I said, well, I'm going to help you recruit members. So I got them a lot of members. And then I think one day we had a falling out over something really dumb. And someone said to me, well, you're not an admin, so you really don't have to say in this. And I'm like, what? It's very rude. So This was when I was visiting my daughter in the Hamptons. It was May of 2017. I'm like, wow, really? I'm just going to start my own group. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm in the Hamptons, like sitting on the beach with my daughters. And I'm thinking, what should I call my wreath group? They're like, I don't know, Mom. Who cares? They didn't want to hear it. They thought it was all kind of dumb, all this old lady drama, they called it, So I was going to do Wreaths Do Come True, but then somebody had named their business that already. So I'm like, need to wreathe. Wow, that's really, I like that. And I just kind of threw it up there, and Debbie Stiles Snyder was my first member. She was a good friend of mine, and it just ballooned. I mean, I can't even tell you how blown away I was at how fast that group grew. And now the other one's doing the same thing. The Wreath and Craft Addicts United. I come up with these great names, don't I? I'm adding probably like 100 members a day.
Wow.
Yeah, that one's growing really fast too. So you can see, I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy.
Busy all the time. That's awesome.
So I'm not going to use every tie. Like I said, there's one here. I'm just going to kind of tuck it in for now because I don't want to go crazy with ribbon on the inside. I'm going to go over to this one. Just kind of go around a little bit because I have some really cute embellishments I want to use. I want to show you guys. Just a couple, I don't want to go too crazy, but let me plug my glue gun in because I think these are going to, I'm not sure how they're going to look, but I ordered them off Craft Outlet and I'm thinking they're going to be cute. I'm going to show you first and you can tell me what you think. Where are they? I got these off Craft Outlet and they're Christmas ornaments. but they're turquoise and like sparkly orange.
Oh,
They were like $1 each. They were cheap. Just, they might be too big. Like I said, I don't know if they're gonna work because I kind of have a lot going on already. I mean, I'm thinking even like instead of putting a bow here, see, that might be too big. I don't know. I'm thinking it's too
no, I
big.
think it looks perfect.
Really?
Yes.
I gotta tuck this part in.
Oh, yes, I love it.
You like that there?
Yes. And it's not too big at all.
All right, Sandra, I'm gonna go with what you say. I'm not gonna put a bow tie in that. I'm gonna put that ornament there. And what I can actually do, I don't know if I have enough of my pipe cleaner here. I can kind of put my pipe cleaner through instead of gluing it and try to secure it that way. Let's see if that'll work.
That's how I attach mine, is through the pipe cleaner.
Yeah, it worked. So that's gonna go there. You don't think it's too big, huh?
No, not at all.
Thank you,
Not
Sandra.
at all.
And then I have an orange one. Maybe I'll do the orange one up in my next tie because I don't want to do too many. Let me see what I have.
No, it doesn't need a lot. You were saying you made wreaths when your kids were young also, and I did as well, but I used, back in the 90s, eucalyptus was those eucalyptus sprays.
Oh, I love those. Yes.
Yes. So I used to make the sprays and I would take wired coat hangers and make it into a circle, and then I would add the eucalyptus around with flowers and beads and stuff like that. I still have one.
I have one hanging in my bedroom, a eucalyptus wreath.
I have one hanging in my bathroom.
There you go.
It so needs to be taken down and
No,
fixed,
don't
but
dare.
I'm just like, I just love it.
Don't you dare take it down. I actually sent a picture to a good friend of mine, a good family friend who I grew up next to. And I remember I purchased a fall wreath from her when my kids were little. And it's just a grapevine wreath and had like a little scarecrow on it and some leaves. And, you know, it's not anything really fancy. But I still hang that wreath every single year. And I was pulling it out the other day. And I had to send her a picture. I said, do you remember this? And she like almost cried. She goes, oh my God. She said, you bought that for me literally like 30 years ago. And I said, I know. But it's so cute. And she used to do a lot of woodworking.
Right?
So the little fence, there's like a little fence, like a little, not really like a picket fence, like a wood fence that kind of goes across the front of the wreath, the grapevine. And then there's a little scarecrow standing outside of it with some pumpkins. And it's just really cute.
Aw,
So yeah, I hang that.
sound
every-
like me.
Yeah, they have sentimental value, you know. I mean,
Exactly.
I can remember hanging that when my kids were, you know, running around getting ready to go trick or treating. Okay, and my son's
Right.
7 now. So I don't think I'm gonna put a bow tie here because his.
And all of your kids are grown, correct, Christina?
Yeah, I have a 27-year-old son. My daughter that lives in Colorado is going to be 26 in November, and then I have another 24-year-old daughter that still lives with me, but she's never home. So
Ah,
I'm not going to put a bow tie here. This looks like it's coming right out of his nose, doesn't it? But that's all right.
it does.
Does that look weird?
No, not at all.
Okay, and I got to figure out where I'm going to put this orange one now. I have 4 of these, but maybe I'll just kind of stick it up here somewhere. Is there I'm hoping maybe there's a tie that I can stick it through. Let's see if I can fish one out here. Let's see, so I don't have to get my hot glue gun out and burn myself, which I always do.
So do I.
I found one.
Do you use a glue pot?
No, I should get one.
I didn't go buy a glue pot because I couldn't find one. And so I took my old electric skillet that I used to use for my candy.
Like a little crock pot type thing, or no?
Well, it's the big skillet that, so I would use it for my candy, putting my coffee cups and then melting my chocolate that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I work with so many different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And so since I wasn't making candy and didn't have any plans of making candy earlier this year, I took that and brought it out and put my glue in it. So it's just an old cooking thing, but you couldn't cook in it anymore because the Teflon had scraped off.
Uh-huh.
And so I just used it as my glue pot. So I have a huge glue pot.
I should get one of those because I heard you don't burn yourself as much with those.
I do not burn myself near as much when I use that as I do if I use that glue gun, I have little burns all over my fingers.
Yeah, I hate that.
And I even wear thimbles.
Does this look okay with just the two
It
balls?
looks beautiful.
I'm trying to put another one on there somewhere. Because I have 4.
Do you have another turquoise one?
I do.
Do you have another tie in between your two bows on the back end of the, what is that, hedgehog?
Yeah.
Yes. So in between your orange bow at the top of the hedgehog, and then in between the one with the chevron ribbon. Yeah, right about there. Do you have a tie there?
Let's see.
Because I think that would be the most well balanced.
I didn't even realize there was a hanger on there.
Oh.
I don't even need that though. It's like so thin, I couldn't even see it. See, when I ordered these on Craft Outlet, I didn't realize they were going to be so big. But if you don't think they're too big, then I believe you. Boy, that worked out well, didn't it? Now I also had, so you don't think I need to put another orange one? I think just the 2 turquoise and the 1 orange is good?
I think so, yes.
I don't want to go too crazy.
The turquoise brings out the turquoise on the little flowers.
Yeah.
On the little hedgehog.
Yep.
And I think that there's enough orange that it doesn't need another sparkly ball.
Yep. Thank you. I also have these, but I don't think I'm going to need these. You know what these are really good to use for? They're the little styrofoam balls. If you don't want to put a bow tie or anything on top of your ribbon bundle, you just put these on the end of your pipe cleaners.
I have those in almost every color imaginable.
I'll have to use them. I know we're making another couple of fall wreaths. I'll have to use them somewhere. But what time do we have? It's 2 o'clock. It's only taken us an hour and a half. That makes me so happy.
Oh, and it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And you can still see mesh.
I know. That's what I like.
Right.
Well, you're the only one left. Everybody else left. So, but everybody will get the video. So I didn't really think there'd be too many people joining us live. But, you know, it was so fun chatting with you, Sandra.
Oh, it was so fun chatting with you too, Christina.
And
you're going to see me more.
Are you going to be in either class this weekend or?
So I can't figure out how to get Zoom on my TV.
On your TV?
So I usually, when I'm in my craft room, I have a big 65-inch TV in there.
Uh-huh.
And I log into Facebook and YouTube, and I catch up on everybody's replays on the weekends when I'm creating, because I find I create better when I'm watching other creatives create other things.
Yeah.
But I tried to download it on my TV the other day, and Zoom wouldn't download. So I will probably be on. I don't know if I'll be in the whole class.
Right.
But it'll be on my tablet again.
Listen, I can try to find out for you. I can call Zoom support.
Okay.
Send me a message. Send me a message and let me know, what type of TV you have.
Okay.
And, as much information as you can, about
it's a Fire Stick I use on it.
Okay, so yeah, send me that in an email, a personal message on Facebook, and I'll call Zoom support, and they may be able to help you or help me, and then I can help you. So.
Oh, perfect.
I would have you call them, but you don't have an account, so it's probably better.
Oh, gotcha.
And try to find out. All right.
Okay. All righty.
All right, guys. There's only one person left. Have a great night, Sandra. Thank you so much for sticking with me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You too.
And you want me to invoice you said, for the other 6 months?
Yes, please.
All righty, I will do that. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Bye.